My audio should be working now. Is it? Is it working? Still none? Just checking. Should be working now. Mic test, mic test. Ayan, okay. Sorry guys. The folks on uh TikTok have been engaging so well, but the folks on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube are all complaining no audio. Okay. Folks on Facebook, I was saying a while ago, I had really a bad day today. Bad day about work. Bad day with, let's just say, certain clients who have been taking advantage of our kindness. Clients who and partners who thought that we will not catch what they've been doing scrupulously lately. And I can't believe that this client did it to us. So I was saying, I want you to punch me with as many questions as you can about public speaking and confidence building because I want to turn those negative vibes and negative energy into something that's positive. Okay? Uh, there you go. People are saying it loud and clear. Can I just answer this question from TikTok now? Because our folks from TikTok have been here for quite a while. Someone's asking Jose, how is the job market right now? Is it good to look for a different job or it depends on the industry? It will always depend on the industry. I do know, however, that from a seasonality perspective, most people and many of them are going to quit their jobs after their bonuses are given because you usually have to wait for that so that you get your bonus 100%. So usually the 13th month bonus is given on April. The 14th month bonus is given on December for companies who have 14 months of pay. If your company only has 13 months of pay, usually that's only for December. So it depends on the industry. It depends on the tech industry is not doing well in a sense that they've been doing a lot of layoff because they've been trimming a lot of people. I do think that anytime, generally the economy is not as bad. I'd like to think. I think we're on the recovery stage right now. So it will depend on the industry. It depends on the company that you're applying for. Some companies are going to be freeze hiring. Some companies may be absorbing the job of two or three people who left and dumping them to certain people who are willing to stay. So it depends. Okay. Ton is saying, I have a question. Go ahead. Just keep on typing your question. Okay. Okay. So attendance check, by the way, can you also just please keep on typing which city, province, or country are you coming from? I would love to know where our folks are typing from. Jane Nicholas, by the way, has this question. Let's answer this now. Uh, okay, I'm not sure if this sentence is complete. How do you catch the attention of the crowd? I think you were meaning catch, not caught, Jane. How do you catch the attention of the crowd and make them ask you questions and show interest to the topic you are discussing? This is my typical dilemma after every meeting. When you tell the participants, okay, team, do you have any questions for me? And most of them are going to be shy. Most of them just want to leave because asking a question might mean the meeting is going to prolong. So, my number one tactic is instead of waiting for them to ask a question, I will be the one to ask them questions instead. And I'll say, okay, it seems like no one wants to ask a question yet. Let me be the one to warm up the floor. Anna, may I ask, when I said letter A, B, and C a while ago, did you like it? Is there something that you'd like to add? Or what's your opinion about this person? Or what's your opinion about the agency that we've been working with? Usually, when you get to make people speak up, it triggers others to also start saying something. And so, if no one wants to ask, I'll be the one to ask them. Here's also another tactic. Number two, in order for people to speak up, start your question with a binary question. Meaning, I will not ask them an open ended question such as, how do you feel? What do you think? What are your solutions? What's your next step? My question will sound like, team, on a scale of 1 to 10, what did you think of the budget allotted for next year? And so they will likely give me a number because it's hard not to give a number, right? It's a quantitative response. So they will give me either 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And here's where I'm going to trigger them to say something further. When they tell me, I think my answer is number 7, and then I will follow up that question with that answer with, okay, what made you say it's number 7? How can I raise it from number 7 to number 10? So you see how it's garbage in, garbage out. It's magic, beautiful things inside when you put them inside, beautiful things will also come out. So the way you design your questions will define the quality of answers that you will also get. Okay? All right. Maximus on TikTok. I think this was a very good question. How do you gain confidence if there are a lot of imperfections about your body? One easy way is to look for role models. There are millions of people in this world who don't have the perfect face, who don't wear the nicest clothes, nor are the richest, and yet they're able to deliver the best speeches because they know their true worth. And I want to highlight this: you must not live your life thinking that what matters is how you look, because they will fade away once you turn 40, once you turn 50 or 60. What will matter is how you speak, your personality, how you engage others. I need to highlight that as early as now. You will not go as far in this world if you keep on thinking that the looks is the only thing that will matter. Okay? Let's look at some more. Wow, you guys are dumping me with questions. I like this. So I'll try to answer as many as I can. Okay, how about this one? Let's look at this. Pau is asking, I am quite reserved at times, and that is fine. That's normal. Some people are outspoken, some people are, they prefer to keep their thoughts in their head. Question now is, how do I develop my interpersonal or social skills? For me, it's practice. The more you expose yourself to different types of people, and that is people that you don't like to hang around with, okay? You think that this person does not jive with your taste about music, food, or even politics. And the more you spend time with them, the more you're forcing them. I would spend more time in parties. I would spend more time sitting in front of a session. I would spend more time during family reunions to be courageous and sit where the barbecue and the lumpia is. Because likely I will be forced to speak with others. And sometimes the best way is to go cold turkey. You don't like it, but you just have to push through. Because what's the worst case scenario if ever you do that, right? You'll just feel awkward, but it's not like something's going to happen to your skin. It's not like you're going to lose money. It's not like you're going to catch a disease, right? The only enemy is the embarrassment and the awkwardness that you will have. But that is also temporary because over time, the more you get used to it, the more you will feel it is normal. So practice, pal. The more you expose yourself to others. And that for me is the exposure therapy, which is the same technique on how people manage their phobia. When you have arachnophobia, which is the fear of spiders, one of the classical ways to manage your fear is to first expose you to photos. These are printed sheets of paper with photos of spiders. And then they start graduating with spiders that are toys. And then it starts with seeing a spider from afar, like 20 feet away, and then seeing a spider 10 feet away, and then seeing a spider in front of you, but it's inside a glass cage, and then finally touching a spider until that fear is eliminated or minimized. That's exposure therapy. I would encourage you to also do the same thing, okay, to manage your interpersonal social skills. Ooh, I like this from Jay Lau. He's asking, do you still procrastinate? Yes, a lot. How do you deal with it? Uh, Three things. Number one, I so here's the most people think that they should do. If you have a project that has a deadline 2 weeks from now, you have to start it and finish it as you can. What I rather, if I have a project that's ending 2 weeks from now, I certain days of those 2 weeks. So I will say week one Monday, I'll only finish this part. Wednesday, I'll only finish this part. Thursday, I'll finish this part. So I'll put it by installment, piece by piece. That's what I will do. I also, number two, an effective tactic, I will think of the worst case scenario. I will think of what are the possible consequences, what are the possible penalties, and then I have to put myself into the shoes of a person who is how do you call this, suffering from those penalties. And the more I internalize it, the more I get motivated. Gosh, I don't want to be in that position. Speaks that it motivates me. By the way, it's called negative reinforcement in psychology. Okay, some people get motivated by incentives or gifts or prizes. Some people can also get motivated by negative aspects of life. Thanks. Oh, let me answer here. Exciting, huh? Andre, ever doubt yourself? Oof. I do not doubt, and maybe maybe I'm an aberration. Maybe I'm an exemption to the rule. Maybe I'm just one of those rare cases. But I don't doubt myself when it comes to things that I know I'm very good at because I've done it 100 times. I've done it. I know that it's just a matter of repeating it the same way I've done it yesterday, the same way I've done it last month. So if you ask me if I ever doubt myself about my abilities to speak in front of an audience, I don't. But I do get nervous in the sense that it is possible that in the middle of the talk, there could be brownout or the projector dies and that I have to come up with something that I am unprepared to work on. So that happens. But if your intention for asking this question is that, is it normal to doubt yourself? Yes, it is. It means that you care about the future so much that you're wondering what would be the worst case scenario if ever you go wrong and if ever you fail, which is a good thing. Okay? It means you care for it. It means that you have something you're passionate about. You're something that you love doing. Okay? Okay, a lot of questions here now. Let me read. I have lots of questions here, guys. Let me just give me a few seconds to merge because some questions are similar. It will be great to cap them on one question. Okay. Enzo is asking this question from Facebook. As some as social anxiety, social anxiety, by the way, is a technical term that you do not just label for yourself. Social anxiety is a technical term that is best and ideally labeled when you have consulted a professional. I need to say that because sometimes we have a tendency to think that when you feel awkward in audience or you feel awkward being in parties, automatically assume the clinical equivalent of it with social anxiety, and that's not always the case. Social anxiety can only be said if you have ticked all the boxes that are identified by a just a psychiatrist or a psychologist. Otherwise, you could just simply be shy. You could just simply be cautious of what other people think. One of the someone in that crowd is something that you love or uh, you're cautious. Okay, so before this one goes about uh, labeling of clinical condition is must be held valid if it is stated so, if it is a diagnosed by a licensed healthcare professional. Okay. But in any case, I will answer this question. I always have issues getting my point across. I always come up either as cold or very blunt. I tried reading books on how to improve the way I communicate with people. The answer here is yes. Obviously, there are many ways on how to overcome it, and a big part of it is managing your mind. I would recommend that you watch my favorite documentaries by this British mentalist, and his name is I forgot his name. One of the favorite British mentalists of all time. He has a documentary on Netflix, but there's this special documentary where he asked people to take a placebo. It's a drug, and the drug says that it can cure your fear of public speaking or the fear of being in front of a crowd. And after people took it, cured. afterwards they were relaxed. It's just okay. Uh said here my TikTok's not. Can I check folks on TikTok? Could you please give me an exclamation mark if you can hear me loud and clear? Also on Facebook and LinkedIn. Just want to check my quality because I'm in my bedroom right now. Internet is not doing well in this part of my room. Okay, so TikTok's okay. Can I also request Facebook and okay, cool. So I guess 𝗬𝗏𝗘𝗚𝗏𝗧𝗏. Okay, let me just check. Let me change my internet connection. There's a connection lag, they say. Okay, let me connect. So give me 30 seconds for this. Okay, let me see. Okay, my internet should be doing better now. Let me just give you a few seconds for this. Should be doing better now. Okay, checking. Give me an exclamation mark if my connection is doing better now. Just want to check. You know what I did? I switched to a different provider. Because for someone who does this for a living, and this is where unfortunately I have to spend extra, I have two internet providers. I have a PLDT connection and I also have a Globe connection. And the reason for that is because during the height of pandemic, sometimes in the middle of a 2-hour session, my connection drops and the entire session just disconnects. So, okay. Yeah, so this is the Globe part. Not because Globe is okay. I just need to clarify. Not because I think Globe has better connection than PLDT. It's because the Globe connection is inside my bedroom. The PLDT connection is inside my living room. And I happen to be in my bedroom, so it's a bit far away from me. So I'm using the Globe. That's why. Okay. Someone was asking me, John, do you ever stutter? I do stutter when I'm not confident with what I'm about to speak. So, for example, if you ask me right now, how does it work? And I don't have much information about it, I think I will stutter. But to talk, I don't recall myself stuttering. I do think that I stutter into my crush. Ever meet in my life, Dr. Angela Duckworth, who I'm such a big fan of. I will stutter when I speak in front of her. Like if you ask me to be a host for an interview with her, I think I will need some because emotions are getting in through the situation. Okay. Okay, let's look at some more. They say it's still lagging on Facebook. People are telling me it's doing well now. Same thing also for TikTok. It should be better now. There you go. Oh, okay. I like this question again. Let me. Okay, so Janine. Oops, wait. You guys are texting too fast. Janine is asking me this question. How do you feel speaking in a large crowd and you personally don't know them? Obviously, I will also be intimidated, but I've answered this question in our last session. What I usually do instead is I will typically find a way to I 1 hour I will call it the crowd. I will talk to them and ask them questions, not just about their company It could be about food. How's the food this lunchtime? Are we going to be served lunch? For example, some nice clients who have really good afterwards. Or I ask them questions, how is the company doing? Or what are your favorite Netflix shows that you'd like to suggest to me that I should binge? And the reason for this is because the more I get to know someone in the crowd, the more I feel that I have friends that I can be comfortable to talk to during my session. Okay? So that's what I do. Uh, Mark says, hear you well. Maybe the listeners have issues with internet provider. Why ago, 5 minutes ago, my internet wasn't doing well, but I think it should be doing well now. Okay. Here's another question. Let's cover this from Mon. Before speaking to a large crowd and I don't know them, I visit them beforehand and I check TNA. What does TNA stand for, by the way? Could you please let me know what does that mean? Ooh, Vincent is asking from TikTok, how do you know how much to prepare for a meeting such that you do not come as over-prepared? Okay, before I answer this, I think it's totally fine to be over-prepared, especially if you have time to spare. You'll never know if if an issue comes up and it would be a bonus point that you were able to answer it just because you over-prepared. But I think more than anything else, it's easy to identify what you need to prepare on if there was a clear agenda stated in the invitation. Which is why if you don't have an agenda, if it's just a pure invitation for a meeting, demand it from the person inviting. So I will call them, I will send them an email, I will text them and say, hey, I am attending the meeting, but I would love to prepare for your session. Please let me know what are the typical questions that you will ask. Or is there any document that I need to bring with me so I can easily present them during the session? Okay, that's what I. Oh, okay. Mon says training needs analysis. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, I'm familiar with that term. It's just that it's not the first thing that came up in my mind. Okay, I hope I was able to answer your question. JC says this. I love public speaking. JC's from TikTok. I love public speaking, but I sometimes hate my speaking voice. This is, by the way, very normal. Very typical that most people don't like their own speaking voice, that I always try to modulate. So here's my quick tip. If you want to sound more modulated, practice speaking with your head tilted downwards. So if you speak something like this, so if you notice, my voice gets even deeper. And this is going to be applicable for both males and females. So what I did a decade ago when I was doing voice coaching with my voice coach would tell me, John, try speaking now with the same voice, even if your head is tilted upwards. So there was a point wherein I have to tilt it 20 degrees upward, another 20 degrees upward, 20 degrees upward until it's 90 degrees. But I have to keep the same voice. Now I can do that, obviously. So look at my face, for example. I'm speaking like this, but I can totally make my voice even deeper, even if I'm not. So you see the difference between the two, right? So it does take a lot of practice. Another way to capture your equilibrium is lie down on your bed, tilt your head also while lying down. You will notice that your voice is going to get deeper also. Okay? So practice with that modulated voice. And we also know this modulated voice attracts more attention. It sounds more commanding, it sounds more authoritative. We do not want to listen to someone who sounds like a Walt Disney character. And what I mean is, good morning, everyone. Today we'll talk about 20 people who were killed in Ukraine. Right? Does that even sound credible? It doesn't. If you listen to CNN news anchors, BBC news anchors, all of them have deep modulated voice. So to sound more credible, to sound more confident, to sound more commanding, you have to modulate your voice. That applies for both males and also females. Okay? My dog wants to walk now, but I can't yet because we have to finish this session. Okay, let's look for some more questions. There were a lot of questions a while ago here. Zali is asking, I used to be confident on interviews. However, as I get older and after working on back office for almost 13 years, I am not as confident before, even though I prepared myself on the possible questions. I get nervous. Any suggestions? Well, practice is one. That's the first one. Number two, I would often bring what I call as a security blanket. A security blanket could be a person or an item that when it's situated beside you, you feel more at ease. So if it's a very important meeting, try to bring a friend. It could be your best friend at work, as long as they're allowed to be part of that meeting. It could be a toy, it could be a book, it could be your favorite shirt, it could be your favorite ball pen. And usually these psychological tricks can help people gain that confidence whenever they need it. Another trick I would request you to do: go to the washroom, stand up straight, do the Superman or the Wonder Woman pose, and breathe heavily. Breathe, do a lot of deep breaths. Because when you have a lot of deep breaths, your body starts to tell your blood, your heart, to pump slower because you need to calm down. And when you pump slower, that means your body, your brain starts to think that there is no danger in place. Okay? Bossy Bloke from TikTok is asking, what is your best job interview, please? Number one, always please come on time. There is nothing that will make you feel awkward in a meeting but arriving late. It's already minus points, not just for your psychological mindset, but it's minus points for the recruiter who's expecting you to be on time. That's the first one. Number two, more than anything else, research about the company. Check their websites, check their LinkedIn account, check their social media accounts. You will have so much information that you will be able to absorb about any company, such that when you answer the questions, you might be able to name drop what you've learned about them, which gives the recruiter an idea this guy is taking this application seriously. So, for example, you found out in their Twitter account that they just launched a new product. Let's say they're selling ice cream and they just launched a new strawberry or ube flavor, right? In my interview, I would say something like, whenever I'm asked the question, John, what is a driver for you to apply for a company? I would say, well, I apply for companies that are known to be innovative, are always pushing the envelope, and are risk takers. And the reason why I love applying to those companies is because I myself am a risk taker. As long as the risk is calculated, I will take it. And this is the reason why when I find out that you're the type of company that launches a new flavor for your ice cream every 3 months or every 6 months, it only means one thing. You're not satisfied with only classic flavors. You want to push the envelope by identifying what the market wants and what the market needs. So you see what I did there? After discovering a certain information from their website or from their social media account, I incorporated it in my interview. I look dynamic, I look impromptu, and at the same time, I look like I've done my homework. And that makes me also confident because in Tagalog, ang dami kong baon na information that I can use later on to sell myself and to sell it to the recruiter. Okay? Let's look for... Okay, let's first look at questions on LinkedIn because I have been neglecting this portion. Mark Salvador asked this question. What is the best way to address a direct report who gave a feedback directly to your boss, meaning he skipped you? This person skipped you, said something to your boss, and yet keeps on praising you during coaching sessions. So meaning this person is not telling the truth. They're trying to say good things about you when you talk to each other, but they're saying bad things about you, I would assume, to your boss. I would confront this person. I would request for a one-on-one meeting and confront and say, I am very grateful about the things that you said to me during our last meeting about letter A, B, and C. These are things that inspire me to become a better coach for you. However, I also discovered and found out that these were the opposite to what you said to person X. I would like to clarify directly from you rather than asking this from other people. Is it true? And if ever is it true, I think this is the best opportunity now to clarify if there is any bad air between the you and I. Okay? Confrontation works. It sounds petty, it sounds superficial, but the only way to address this is to not approach it with silent treatment. You have to talk to the person. And you have to let the person know that you know something about it. Otherwise, they will continue the same thing. Okay? 𝗖𝗵𝗲𝗘𝗏 is asking, what are the biggest mistakes in writing an email to a client? So many mistakes. I could write a book about it. But for me, it would be writing an email when your concern could be resolved easily on a text message or on a phone call. And the reason for that is because if you write it on email, you burden the person to write back, or you burden the person to spend extra time typing it or explaining it when it's simpler to explain it face to face, via phone call, or via chat. I'm also going to say the same thing. It could be the other way around. Sometimes it's wrong to call a person when you can resolve it easily via a quick chat, via a quick Viber message. But my point here is you need to identify if you're talking to the person using the right platform. The ultimate goal of a customer is to find ways to talk to you in the most efficient way, the fastest amount of time without compromising quality, without invading privacy. Okay? Ooh, someone's asking, can I ask for advice if it's not related to the topic but still work related? Go ahead. Please type it. We'll find time to answer it later on. Sunday is asking, can you outline some ways? I'm reading, by the way, a question now on TikTok. Sunday is asking, can you outline some ways we can use body language to enhance our speech? Okay. This, by the way, is going to be discussed in our upcoming workshop. If you're interested to attend on April 29 at 9:30 a.m. at SMX Convention Center, we'll discuss all of these things. But let me answer that question quickly. Your hands and your face are the ultimate reflections of how you feel. So, for example, if you're speaking, if you're delivering a pitch, if you're presiding a meeting, and your hands are always, while standing up, inside your pockets, it does not show any transparency at all. A more confident way to deliver what you're saying in a meeting is to always have your palms open. So say something like, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask. So for example, if I'm saying, I'd like to ask for a 5 million peso increase in budget, I'd say something like, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to ask for a 5 million peso increase in budget for next year. You see what I did there? The opening of palms is a body language gesture of transparency. I come with no harm. I'm telling the truth. I'm not hiding anything. Vis-a-vis, imagine someone, I can't do it here because I'm sitting down, but imagine someone who's putting their hands behind their pockets or in their pockets or crossing their arms all the time, which, by the way, is a gesture of being defensive or not willing to be open to other people's suggestions. Okay? So match powerful words with high power language. And high power language usually is all about transparency. You open up, so you open your hands, you open your chest, you stand straight, versus when you clam up, okay? Or for example, like you're looking downwards instead of looking straight into the eye of the person. That's an example of hiding something or hiding information. Janine, do you have any suggestions to become a more improved trainer? Please come and attend our April 29 session, Boost Your Confidence Workshop at SMX Convention Center in Fort BGC. Obviously, I'm plugging myself here, but that's one of the most confident way I can vouch that we can help you improve your ability to speak in front of an audience. Okay? All our tickets are available at jonathanyabout.com, together with other workshops available for our participants. Okay. Hansel is asking from TikTok again. How do I say to my boss that I don't want to open my camera while on a meeting? I'm only going to be there for a few minutes and I look stupid being there doing nothing but to listen. Okay, before I answer this question, please also take note that there is a reason why people want you to turn on your camera. It is a sign for a lot of Gen X folks, a sign of respect. Okay, so if these are the rules that they want to impose, know that it's coming from that. Number two, when you open your camera, it's a sign of legitimacy. I am not hiding anything. I am also working according to where I should be working from. If you happen to be working from home or working from the office or working in an area where they expect you to be, when you open your camera, it's transparency that I'm getting my job done. Okay. However, I also do acknowledge that why should I turn on my camera if I'm delivering the output anyway? Why should I turn on my camera if what only matters are my slides and my voice? And the reason for that is because for certain people, not being able to see your face means that you're not as transparent to everything that you're saying. Meaning, they want to find out if you're lying because they can see that in your eyes, your lips, your face. They want to find out how enthusiastic you are about what they are saying because they want to see your reactions also through your face. So please note that when people ask this from you, it's not because they want to become the villain in your life. It's because they think that the job can be done better if your face is also turned on. As you say, if you're only being asked to do it for a few minutes, why not just give in to it? Okay? Now, if you really want not to turn on your camera, there is another tactic to do that and say, is it okay if I turn on my camera for a few seconds just to show and build rapport and establish how I look? And then later on, I'll turn it off. Some people will make the excuse, and again, don't quote me on this. Some people make an excuse, I'm going to turn on my camera just for me to establish my presence, but I will turn it off because my bandwidth is not powerful enough. And so to save bandwidth, I will only turn on my audio and my slides. That's another tactic also of doing it. Okay. But I'm here to tell you that people are asking you to turn on your camera not because they want to complicate their lives. They're doing it because a big part of communication is transparency and relationship building. And the best way to do that is if you also show your face. It's also a way of telling you, let's be fair to each other. If I turn on my camera because I took the time to fix myself up and be available for you so that you can see my reaction, so that you know if I'm agreeing or disagreeing, can I expect you to also do the same thing from your own end? Okay? So Hansel, if you're saying, if you're just there to listen, I guess the reason why is because the person who's speaking wants to know how you react by the minute when they're also saying something. Okay? Again, don't get me wrong. I'm the kind of person who, if the topic of the meeting is not as important, or if the reactions are not important to be known, because I trust that the people are going to listen anyway, I do not require them to turn on their videos. Okay? Here's also one thing, Hansel. Maybe what you want to do first is tell them, can I turn off my video, but I do promise you, and you have my word, that I will be able to capture everything that you said, and you can even ask me later on for the minutes or for whatever it is. Usually, when you have proven your consistency, that you have indeed been listening, then I don't think it will become an issue for them in the future. Okay? Bossy bloke, what's your best tip to get someone promoted? This is an entire chapter for a book. If I were to minimize it to one sentence, the best way to get promoted is to be known for one project. It doesn't have to be 5. It doesn't have to be 10. It can just be one big project that delivers the bottom line for the business. Which means this assumes that sometimes, even if you're working so hard, but the project does not have visibility, it's not the star project, it's not the blockbuster project, it's not the project that people are looking forward to know about, promotion may not be as easy as you wish it would be. This is where the politics of work comes in. Okay. Atal is asking where is Tanjiro. He's actually here. He's sleeping. He's getting ready to walk in a while. How's life after winning the show? Apprentice Asia says JC. Uh, all good. And this is the reason why we're doing this session, because for the past 10 years, we've been in the business of helping people with their careers. We've done our workshops and consultations for companies. That's what we've been doing for the past few years. Cheems, pabak read sa tanong ko, sir. Cheems, can I just check what your question is? Could you please type it? Okay. I saw it now. Okay. Let's do one more question on TikTok, and then let's go back to Facebook and LinkedIn in a while. Sir, what will you do if your manager and coworker is having a relationship, even though we are a team? If the relationship is getting into the way of fairness, meaning there are certain projects that are not being done effectively, people are forgiven easily for their mistakes, including not attending work on time, then I think you should speak up, because that means that the relationship is leading towards favoritism. And that is not a good context. That is not a good environment for any office situation. Okay? So in this case, you can have two options. Either you mention it to both of them, or if you think that it will go bad in any case, I'd go straight to HR. Check, however, first, what is the policy of the company when it comes to relationships? Because if there isn't any rule about it, most companies do. Most companies will allow it only if the two parties are in different departments. They can't be in the same team. If there are no rules, however, then you don't have something that you can hold on to, right, for your claim. So it will be more of a complaint because you don't feel that the fairness is being exercised. However, if there is no issue to work, you're all doing well, everyone is being treated objectively, then if you have still issues with it, that's going to be your problem now. Because if it's not affecting anyone, and sometimes I can even argue, being in a relationship with someone that you work with can be a better thing because it inspires me to do better. We're able to read and predict each other's actions. Okay? So it can go both ways. All right, let's answer this question. This one is from JV Madrid. That I know you've already asked a while ago, but let me answer this because this is something serious. How do you respond if your company HR tells you that they are extending your probation of 6 months to additional 3 months? First and foremost, check your employment contract. If in your employment contract it says that the decision must be given on the 6 month, then this is against that. However, what I'm rather thinking is when a company extends it to 3 months, it means that they do not want to let you go, but they want to give you another chance. And that another chance will happen in the form of the additional 3 months. Okay? Because usually after 6 months, they can just simply say, sorry, we cannot regularize you and we have to let you go. But maybe this company doesn't want to do that. So what I would do is I will ask questions as to why I was not regularized and what is the criteria, the clear criteria for identifying what makes an employee become regularized. So you can go back to that criteria later on and say, I have met criteria 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why am I still not regularized? Okay. So if JB says should I explore other opportunities? You can technically, but I would exhaust all means first. If this is a good company and they're giving you an extra chance, I think you should stay, and I think you should find a way to prove that you are worthy of getting regularized before you decide to move on to a different company. On the other hand, just for protecting your future, it doesn't hurt to start also floating your resume in other companies, because it usually takes time. It takes 3 months or 6 months to finally get a job. By the time that you have not been regularized after 3 more months, at least there is already another company who's interviewing you or is willing to take you. Okay? Dang. How do you speak confidently to a manager who intends to give you a raise, but then refuses to do so because I made a mistake in my job for which you are not solely responsible? First and foremost, was this put into documentation? If it's just said verbally, if it's just a verbal expression that I want to give you a raise, the person can easily take it back. The only thing that they will say is their shortcoming is in their integrity, that they did not hold up to their promise. But if it's not put into writing, if it's not documented, if it's not sanctioned by the company, anyone can easily take it back. Okay? What I would recommend is for you to have a heart-to-heart talk with your manager and say, I understand that there was a mistake. However, number one, I don't think you should penalize me 100% because it was not my fault because of X, Y, and Z. And then number two, identify moving forward because I still look forward to getting that raise. What should I do in order for me to get it back? Okay? So identify because it's still on the table. It's still a possibility. Ask it from that manager. Okay? Okay, another question from TikTok. Hi, Jonathan. Probably I am too nice. How are you gonna handle subordinates na masungit sumagot? Okay? How are you gonna handle direct reports, people who report to you, who seem to respond in a cold, rash manner? Okay? So I have three questions. Number one, are they cold, but do they get the job done? Okay. Number two, where do you think is this attitude coming from? Number three, was there something that happened in the past that made them like this, or are they already like this from the very start? My personal take is if someone does not have the warm personality that I wish someone had, but still gets the job done, I will leave them as is. Because if my relationship with you is going to be transactional, and as long as you get the job done, I'm not going to force you to treat me with the kind of warm personality that I can get from another kind person. Okay? There's no crime, there's no civil liability, the person's getting the job done. It's just that they're not as cheerful. It's just that they're not as happy as someone thinks that they should be. And remember, if you happen to be a Filipino, your standards for kindness and cheerfulness are relatively higher. So if that standard is not met, sometimes we automatically think that the person is snobbish. Sometimes we unfairly criticize that the person is not kind. Maybe it's just who they are. And as long as they're not harming anyone, I think we should let them be. And we should not force them to become as warm or as cheerful as you should be. It's similar to emails. Some people think that you're a bad person when you're not putting a smiley in your emails. Can I get an exclamation mark if you agree? Have you met those kinds of people? Are you that type of person? I hate these kinds of people because I'm not the type who puts smileys. And it's not because I'm a bad person. I think I'm a nice person. The reason for that is because I think it's unprofessional to put too many smileys. I think if you're saying if you're writing to a different culture, like for example Australians or Europeans, if you put a smiley, they might think you're flirting with them, for example. Okay? So when my point here is masungit ba sila or feeling mo kasi dapat lahat kasing saya tulad mo. Okay? So that should be a consideration that you have to ask yourself. Are they bad people? Do they have the wrong attitude? Or is it because you're imposing the kind of cheerfulness that you think everyone should become? And everyone is not obliged to become like that. Okay? Well, you said it already. Maybe you're too nice. So maybe your standards for being nice is also very high. Yuri from TikTok was also saying it's kind of informal to put smiley in emails. I would put smiley on emails if I'm talking to someone who I have been working for many, many years, to the point that we have built relationships based on strong, deep friendships. Okay? But if it's for someone I'm talking to for the first time, I haven't yet built a rapport, it's for a client, I would refrain from putting smileys also. Okay? Can I give away some prizes now to our participants? We're talking about public speaking. We're talking about confidence here. Speaking of that, the only gift that I can give to you is the gift of confidence, the gift of learning. So on TikTok and also on LinkedIn and Facebook, I want to give away 2 tickets. Okay? So we got 6 tickets in total. For anyone who gets to answer my question, and the first one who gets to answer this are going to win the tickets. Can I get the letter R if you're up for some contest, please? Are you guys cool with that? So on Facebook and LinkedIn, I am displaying now our session. That's Boost Your Confidence, 9:30 to 12:30 p.m., April 29 at SMX Convention Center. The ticket is worth $1,299. And we also give discounts for groups of 3 and groups of 8. Okay? If you're interested to attend, you can just go to our website, jonathan.yabut.com. But I want to give away tickets, okay, to our participants. It's a 3-hour session. We talk about all the best practices and the tips that you can do to improve your confidence. If you guys are ready, let me ask the question now. Are you guys cool? Let me just check the comments. Okay, remember, first person who gets to write this in the comment section wins. Okay? So my question is a trivia question, nothing to do with confidence. It's more of current events. Okay? So my question is, this 2023, as a basketball-loving nation, the Philippines is finally going to host the FIBA, which is like the World Cup in football counterpart for basketball. The question is, the Philippines is hosting it together with 2 other countries in Asia. Identify which 2 other countries are those. If you don't know the answer, you can Google this easily. Okay? And by the way, if I call out your name and if you happen to win it, please send me a private message so I can give you instructions on how to claim your prize. Okay? Okay, wow, you guys are quick. Let me call out now our winners, ladies and gentlemen. So, my winner, I'm only going to call out 1 winner per platform. My winner on TikTok. The correct answer, by the way, is Indonesia and Japan. Those are the other co-host countries with the Philippines for the 2023 FIBA. So my winner on TikTok, the name is Win, WIN.SG04. Congratulations. My winner on Facebook, ladies and gentlemen, is Joey Madronero. Congratulations. Japan and Indonesia. Okay. And my winner on LinkedIn is Katrina Marie Leasing. Congratulations also for winning. So please send me a DM, a private message or direct message, and I will give you instructions on how to claim your prize. Okay? Thank you. Okay. Let's look at more questions. Hansel's asking on TikTok, what's your first impression of Sir Pangilinan? There are many Pangilinans that I know. Which one is this? Could you please specify? Maurice asking, hindi po ba akong nanalo? Sorry, Maurice, I'm only looking at the first one that comes into my screen. Okay? Okay, we'll give one more set of prizes, don't worry, in a while. Okay. Let me call my dog so he can help me select. Tanjiro, come here. Let's select a question, please, before we end. We can cover 2 or 3 more questions, by the way. Tanjiro's here. Oh, there you go. You can see him now. Come here. Up, up, up. Oh, there you go. Okay. Let's select a question here. You guys, okay, let me go. There are a lot of questions for this. Okay, from TikTok. It's very hard to announce. ZXTV, whatever. What are your tips for introverts who find speaking in front of the audience difficult? I think one of the easiest way is to look what is the ultimate benefit of speaking in front of the audience. If it's work related, is it about your promotion? Is it about impressing someone at work? Is it about the sense of achievement? Focus on that. Because the more you want it so bad, the more you often tell yourself, there's still get done, needs to get done. I think it's one of the easiest ways. The other one is just keep on practicing and embrace that even if you do not like speaking, you have to act it out. If you attended our session last Monday, I said this many times. Speaking, public speaking involves acting. Can I get an exclamation mark again? If you with that. Public speaking involves acting. If you do not like your audience members, you talk because you do it. Because expecting to, you have to pretend that you like the audience. You did not get enough last night, so you feel tired. You cannot look at your the interest and engagement level of your audience. You have to pretend that you're excited. Public speaking requires acting. So for introverts out there, sometimes it's a matter of embracing the fact that if I need to deliver this presentation, how can I, on top of looking at the prize, how can I change my perspective that if I artificially change the way I look and the way I say it, I will be able to benefit from what I needed from the first place. Okay. Maybe I can also change the perspective here. Sometimes you have to ask yourself as an introvert, do I really need to force myself to say this verbally? Can I be better instead in business writing? And if that's your case, what if you express it instead in writing rather than in speaking? As long as it doesn't make things inefficient, huh? By the way, that's the second one. The third one, I would say, would be, again, it sounds like an old broken record, but multiple exposures to the person that you feel awkward or intimidated to will make you feel better. Because the more you get exposed to them, the more you see their own imperfections, the more that you also see their insecurities, and the more you tell yourself, ganun din pala siya. I thought he was this high and mighty. He also has his own shortcomings. And the more that you see these things, the more you look at the person as your equal. And your feelings of being nervous can also be minimized. Okay? Fringe Shell. I work here in United Kingdom. It is difficult for me to talk because I am insecure with my accent. May I ask, by the way, are you Filipino or from which country are you from? I would assume that you are. First and foremost, I'm gonna, if I have a magic bag, I will always bring out the quote of Eleanor Roosevelt, which is, no one can make you inferior without your permission. So when you feel inferior about who you are, the only person who decides this is not the person who makes you feel insecure. It's you. So when I speak to other audiences, I'll give you an example. Malaysia and Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, United States, sometimes their accents are so uniquely different that even if you know that you're speaking the correct pronunciation, right, they will think that you're saying something else. So I will never think of their judgments because that is natural from their end. For as long as they will be able to understand what I said after the second or third attempt, I'll be fine with it. Some people will say, no, you should have pronounced it this way. But sometimes I will also tell them, but did you understand what I was trying to say? And as long as you understood it, then what matters more is the content, not the pronunciation. And I will not mind of what other people's business are. Otherwise, you will not be able to move on and proceed. Okay? And also, accents do not determine your importance in this world. What matters, your importance is based on the kindness that you have shown to others, right? The goodness that you have imparted. I think that's what matters more. It's not your accent. Because accents are natural parts of who you are. It is not your fault if you were not born in United Kingdom. It is not it is not in your control. It is not your decision that you were born in another country such that you are now being forced to speak a different language And just because your accent is different, you're inferior and you're bad. That's not how things are. There are 8 billion people in this world. Majority of them can't even speak English. And those are folks from China, right? So we all determine our fates. The only person who will make you feel inferior is yourself because you let others do it for you. Okay? Also, by the way, you know what's good if you have an accent? It means that you are bilingual. It means that you are trilingual and scientifically proven for many, many decades. If you can speak multiple languages, you are naturally smarter. Why? You can assign certain words for certain concepts and emotions that other people don't and other people cannot. It means your perspective of the world is wider and bigger because you can express certain feelings that others can't. Okay? You're actually superior if you have an accent because that means you can speak multiple languages. Please remember that. Okay? Ooh, Lyris Flair. Okay, thank you very much for the badge, by the way. I appreciate that. Okay, let's look at more questions. Can I just read the same similar one? Someone wrote this a while ago. Mar says, being able to speak multiple languages make me confused sometimes and mixing languages by accident, especially during interviews and meetings. I also get confused translating Bisaya to Tagalog and English. How can I best deliver my thoughts without ending up humiliated or pathetic? You just simply don't. You deliver what you need to say. You can apologize from time to time if your sentence became mixed up, but you should never be apologetic for your identity. Okay? So the only way to manage this is that sometimes if it gets through the clarity of your thought, you need more practice therefore. So if you're more well spoken in Bisaya and therefore it's harder for you to speak in English, the job that you need to do is to practice speaking more in English because it's needed at work. So see it as a requirement for your success as well. But please don't ever apologize that your identity is at fault just because you're able to speak multiple languages. Okay? That's the point of life. That's the reason why we have different countries. That's the reason why there is such a thing as culture as well. Okay, John from TikTok. Any last minute advice for an interview for a managerial position? If it's a managerial position, one of the things that they will always ask about your leadership style. So be prepared to answer questions about what do you do in times of conflict with your direct reports? What do you do if someone from your direct report needs emotional help? All of these questions will simulate how do you react when someone in your team needs your support and assistance. Remember, if it's a managerial position, it's less of your technical capabilities, but more of your leadership capabilities. So expect that the questions are going to be about what is your style of coaching? How is your patience if your people are not able to capture what you said first time around? Do you forgive them on the second time or third time or fourth time attempt? Or what do you do when you need to work with someone who has a different personality, who doesn't get along well with you? So most managerial interviews are all about personalities and emotions. Okay? Don't get me wrong, there will be some technical aspects as well, for sure. If you're applying for a managerial position that involves a certain software, they will probably be asking these questions also. But managers aren't managers if it weren't for the people. You are a manager because there's a group of people to manage, right? So be prepared that the questions are all about people engagement, people support, people coaching, people mentoring. Okay? You have to be self-aware of your styles of coaching, styles of mentoring. Okay? So I'll give an example. If I do get interviewed about my style of coaching, I will say that I am a chameleon. A chameleon being There's a tendency for leaders to impose that there's only one way of learning, meaning give them a manual, let them read it, give them a quiz, and that's it. But as a manager, I also acknowledge that sometimes my people are visual learners. Some are auditory learners. Some are kinesthetic learners. Kinesthetic meaning they have to push a button and make a mistake for them to learn it right. So as a manager, I will adjust my style of coaching depending on the style of learning of my people. If I will have time, if I can make time, I will make time for it because my way is not the only way. So those are the things that I will usually say in a job interview involving managerial skills. Okay? I hope I was able to answer your question. Jello is asking, this is out of topic, but how do you deal with your team leader who always looks for your mistake? I will commit and say, thank you for pointing out that mistake. May I ask for support and help? What do you think can I do in order to avoid that mistake? Or better yet, you can say, noted on that mistake, moving forward, are you okay that I do X, Y, and Z to avoid repeating it in the future? Okay? So acknowledging and appreciating that they were able to call you out is one. But number two, ask for support. Hold them accountable. Your manager is not just there to police you. Your manager is supposed to be there to support you with your growth. Okay? Okay, another one from Facebook, Libby Arevalo. How about what happens if you intend to transfer from one department to another? However, your boss wants you to stay in your current position. What do you recommend to deal with this? Number one, please remember that no one will take good care of your career but you. So do not let any person, and that includes your boss, determine where you should work and how you should work. At the end of the day, it's your destiny, it's your family, it's your happiness at stake. So if you really want to pursue that specific position, go for it. But also acknowledge the limitations. So what I would do with my manager is, number one, I would explain. Have you ever explained to your boss in the first place, why do you want to move out? Sometimes all that they need to hear is your passion, that you're going to be a better employee and that you will even contribute more if you move to that new department. And if you have a good boss who's wearing a corporate hat, they should not be mindful even if they're going to lose you afterwards because it will make the company even better. Okay? Number two, I would assist my manager and say that if I'm going to move on, I will make sure that everything is turned over properly. I will also, by my extra, if you can volunteer, this is not your job, but if you can volunteer, find a way that your replacement can be easily discovered. So if you can refer someone who will replace you, that's also better. Why? It makes the job of your manager easier. They're going to be less hesitant to let you go, if ever. Because that's usually the reason why managers don't want to let you go. It's not because they want to keep on staying with you for the rest of their lives. It's because losing a talent means starting from scratch with another talent. Okay? Okay. Jewelson is asking, please give your standard tips or guides on how to make executives say yes after a 30-minute presentation. I don't want to overthink. This is a very general question. There are many ways. Well, number one, any decision maker is going to say yes or no. If it's very clear from the very start, what exactly are you going to ask from them? So in my first slide in my PowerPoint presentation, I will specifically indicate at the end of this meeting, we need to identify the following: A, B, and C. This is important so that while they're browsing your other slides, they have an idea what's going to be asked from them later on. Okay. Number two, it's not just a matter of saying yes or no. It could also be a matter of timelines. Is it a commitment to say yes by Friday? If they can't say yes right now, can I get back to you and commit to it on Tuesday? Okay. It can also be a matter of, if you can't commit by now, can you please tell me what is stopping you or what is challenging you from not being able to give a yes or no? You hold them accountable, because if you're able to pinpoint what's stopping them, you can offer your support, or number two, you can challenge if that problem is even legit or valid. Okay? In the first place. This might be more of the theatricals, but the timing is important. If I'm talking to a high level executive, I will usually schedule it in the morning, not in the afternoon. Why? Morning, everything is still clear, just like water. By the afternoon, everything has gone muddy. A lot of things have happened. They've been through other meetings. Their brain has been fried. They might not be in a good mood. Usually, the context of the time is also going to determine. And there are a lot of studies about this. In the United States of America, there are studies that show judges who grant paroles to prisoners, usually there's a higher chance of getting your parole approved if you were asking it, if your hearing was done in the morning than in the afternoon. And the hypothesis here is that the judge who was deciding on your parole was still in a fresh mode. They were still not tired. They were still in good mood. They're not tired. They just woke up, probably had their few cups of coffee also. Okay, here's one more question. John, what should I do if my manager does not want me to use the spreadsheets to record my job so that I can keep track of all the reports and make it easier for my coworkers to respond when they need some reports? This is weird. It's my first time to hear something like this. It's not just about the spreadsheet. It's about the concept that you should not be keeping track of what's happening. May I ask why? Because if someone's stopping me from using the spreadsheets, I will manually write it down on a sheet of paper. Okay? But could you please specify why? What's the intention behind this? Okay, let's look for some more questions here. I'm sorry, I've missed out some more. Top. Okay. I think we can cover two more questions, and before that, let's give away our last prize. Are you guys okay with that? Can I get the letter R if you're ready for one more prize? This time, I am going to give away our 500 peso gift certificates from our sponsor, and that is 𝗬𝗓, or Oh So Healthy. And these are fun flavored snacks made out of fruits and vegetables that are dried, they're baked, not fried, and they're also gluten-free. I'm going to be asking a question from the participants. I will be looking at the multiple chat boxes, but I can only choose one. Okay, I can only choose one. If you guys are all cool, could you please give me a letter R as in ready? If you're also watching this and haven't given us yet a like or a heart, we'll appreciate that. Please, could you please give us a like and a heart? Will help us improve our algorithm on social media. Very good. Thank you. Okay, so if you guys are ready, it's going to be another trivia question. Okay, my question is this: what is the least used letter in the English alphabet? The least used letter used in any word, sentence, conversation in the English alphabet. Can you make a guess? What is that letter? Oop. All right, I think I got it now. First one, I saw it on TikTok. Okay. K. Pestaño says letter ñ. Unfortunately, that's not part of the English alphabet. That's part of the Filipino and the Spanish and Portuguese alphabet, but not in the English alphabet. So no. The correct answer, meanwhile, was given by Vincent Donny Ple 132. The correct answer is the letter Q. It's the letter Q. That's the least used letter in the English alphabet. All right, congratulations, Donnie. You just won 500 peso worth of gift certificates from Oh So Healthy Snacks, or 𝗬𝗓. You can claim this for their Lazada or website online store. Could you please send me a private message on TikTok so I can give you the instructions on how to claim your prize? Okay, thank you. We'll be doing another live session soon this week, so I hope you get to catch us. In the meantime, before I end, could you please type in the chat box, do you think that this is the optimal time to do our live sessions, or do you prefer a specific time? Like, is 9 p.m. better? Is 8 p.m. better? I can't do 11 p.m. That's too late. Right? Is 5 p.m. optimal? I'm only using 5 or 6 p.m. because that's also when I start slowing down with my work. I get lesser emails and phone calls. So that's the best time for me. But I also don't mind doing it even much later if you think that that's going to help you attend our sessions as well. Right? So could you please identify? Could you please let me know? What do you think is the best time? Do you also prefer weekends, for example? I will also find time for that. 7 to 8 p.m., 6 to 7 p.m. And your guys are not making it easy for me with the multiple options. 8 to 9 p.m. Okay, 8 or 9. Okay. Right. How about, can I ask, is 9 p.m. good? Is 9 p.m. good? Can you let me know? Because I'm just concerned 9 p.m. might be too late for certain people. Or you're doing something else like watching Netflix. Would you rather watch a learning session than Netflix, for example? 9? Okay. All right. People are saying it's 9. You know, TikTok crowd is it's a very late crowd. In fact, if you look at the data, a lot of people are online on TikTok 11 p.m. onwards, 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. Don't know why. Maybe because it's a younger crowd. But I also sense that I wish it's also the same thing because I can also do better late at night. Okay. Because I would rather be also working at 6 to 7, like catching up with some more emails. Okay. So 9 p.m. then. Okay. I see a lot of 9 p.m. folks. I'll try to do some 8 p.m. from time to time, but let me explore doing a 9 p.m. on another day this week. Okay? I hope that's cool. All right. And then please also let me know, either send me a private message or type in the chat box, what other topics would you like me to consider? I think someone said it here. Just the way I dream on TikTok says, can you suggest a topic about morale for employees in the manufacturing industries? Okay. LR says, proud katundo. Yes. You know what? Can I just share this? During the Holy Week, and this was April, this was Black Saturday. I was going around with my friends. I was bringing out some of my friends who are from abroad, and it's their first time to visit the Philippines. And there was someone in my group of friends who challenged me. I challenge you to bring us to Tondo. And so I brought them. We even went to where our house that we were renting was situated. It's destroyed now. But I'm also so amazed because Tondo is not anymore the Tondo that we know. There are so many well urbanized areas and it doesn't feel like it's the Tondo that we know in the films or in movies, right? It's just like any other district in other parts of Metro Manila. So it's no longer the Tondo that I know. So that was an experience, by the way. Someone's asking me, can you speak straight Tagalog? Of course I can. Gosh, marunong po ako mag-Tagalog at magaling po ako mag-Tagalog. And I do a lot of sessions. Madami po ako mga kliyente na ang aking ginagamit na salita ay Tagalog. Okay. Right. LR says Tondo is not the same as before. Okay. Also, can I just say that I've been studying Spanish for quite a while since I was in high school. So if you bring me to a Spanish-speaking country, I can confidently speak transactionally. And I'm not exaggerating because some people will say that they can speak Spanish, but if you start talking to them, they will not be able to answer the questions properly. I think I'm intermediate from that level. That's me bragging, by the way. Okay, sa ugbo. Actually, hindi pa po ako sa ugbo. I do want to catch and capture the food because I've seen it so many times on TikTok. So siguro, sa susunod kong bisita, I'll visit ugbo. People might be asking, why don't I speak Tagalog as much in the sessions? That's because some of our viewers, especially on LinkedIn, are from other countries. So I want to make sure we can capture a bigger crowd and we can also reach out to more viewers outside the Philippines. Okay. Dang is saying it's 11 p here. Okay, sorry, different time zone. Okay, I need to catch on with my other work. Walk my dog. Angelo, can you say hi before we go? Come here. Up, up, up. He's gonna say hi now. Come on. Say hi to our viewers before we leave. Up. Come on. Come on. Say hi. Come on. Yeah, that one. Oh, there you go. Say hi. We're gonna walk now. For those asking, dog. He's an adopted dog. He's 2 years old. He's a mix of a Dachshund. That's why he's very short. But his colors resemble those of a German Shepherd because his dad. Don't eat the microphone, Tanji. His dad is a. Sorry, his mom is a German Shepherd, but his dad is a Dachshund. Okay. I see you guys soon. Stay safe and keep on practicing so you can be more confident. Bye, guys. We have to leave muna. Bye, TikTok folks.